Welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be giving you all some lock tips if you're thinking about starting locks or just have some interest and not sure where to start. This video is for you. Or even if that's not the case, you just want to watch. Keep on watching, girl. However you start your locks, make sure you have a strong foundation. I suggest making your locks around your edges like a little bigger, because usually hair around your perimeter is a little bit thinner and finer. For me, for sure, but most people that is the case. And you don't want to run into thinning locks as your locks mature. Like, as you can see with mine, like mine are kind of like longer in this area. And a few of them I've actually combined in the front just because I know, like, I have a lot of baby hairs. And the person who started my locks, like, he did a good job with that. I made sure to point it out in the beginning to him. So if you do wear a lot of baby hairs or you have a lot of baby hairs like I do, I suggest letting your loctician know that, because I brushed them out for him and let him know not to count that as a square, because I literally have so much baby hairs that this literally could be a whole square and then it would be a hell of a slim thin lock, and you don't want that. As your journey goes, like, stay on top of areas or locks that seem like they're not forming along with the rest when it comes to the size that you're looking for. I just made sure to stay on top of my lock. Like this area, this was 2 in the beginning that he made, and I was like, oh no, my hair's too fine right there. So early on I combined them and just made sure that I was keeping them together. Same on this end right here, because it's the same in this area. When it comes to my temples, my hair is a little bit finer, so I did the same thing in that area as well. And just along this area, I combined a couple in the back too. I can show you those as well. Think about what you want your lock to look like. Do you want to interlock or do you want to retwist for your maintenance? Recommended to be more consistent with one method. Don't switch back and forth between 2, because that can form inconsistencies in your lock and it can look kind of weird. So yeah, I personally do retwist for my maintenance on my locks because I wanted a more thicker and cylindrical looking lock, as opposed to interlocking where it's like a ropier, like slimmer looking lock. So you really just have to decide on which look you prefer and go from there. I would say for your locks, make sure you keep it simple with your routine, because you do not want to have build up later. Do not be a product junkie like you were when you were loose natural and trying this product and that product and this product. Find something that works for you and stick to it. Keep it simple and you'll be good. Locks don't take a whole lot of extra shit. It doesn't need that. Don't do it. You're just gonna add extra work to yourself for no reason, so keep it simple. So another thing to think about when starting your locks is, what parting system do you want to use? Do like diamond, rectangle, square, C, fan shape. Make sure you talk to your loctician, do your research, and get a really good person to do it so that they can educate you and you can really get what you want, because this is one of the main reasons people end up starting their locks over, is because they don't like their parting system, they don't like how their locks lay, and their lock to part ratio was off. So you just got to make sure you're going to a really good professional person who knows what they're doing, so that you don't have that issue. Unless you want to do the research yourself and you're starting your locks and you're about that life, I'm here for you and I support you. I wasn't, so I went to a professional. But just make sure that you do your research on that, so that that's not an issue for you and you're not having to restart your lock journey over multiple times to get exactly what you want. So me personally, as far as my parting system, I know this is crazy, and when I was researching the system that I wanted and was talking to a lot of people whose locks I liked, they're like, I don't really know what system I have. And I'm like, how do you not know what system you have? And now I have locks and I don't really know what system I have. I feel like I would say that I have like a freestyle, square and rectangle, undone, organic, natural look. I really don't know. I just really told my loctician like imperfect squares, and he got it right, and I like how my locks lay. Like I said, I combined certain ones in the front, so some are a bit longer in the front going back. And in my ones in the back, I feel like at the bottom of my head, they're a little bit more square. And then coming to the top, it kind of looks like rounded off square, like I said, imperfect squares. And it made for like a fuller look as opposed to like perfect squares that are just like stacked on top of each other, you know? And I didn't want like a lot of like, when my locks were grown out, I didn't want a lot of scalp to be showing or anything like that. So keep that in mind also with the amount of locks you choose and the size you're going for when it comes to that as well. Think about what size lock do you want. Mine personally, I could compare it to a number 2 pencil. On average, the size of my locks, I have some that are a bit smaller than that, but for the most part, my locks are about the size of a number 2 pencil, which is exactly what I wanted, and that was a conversation I had with my loctician who started my locks. So just, you know, keep that in mind when deciding. What method do you want to use when starting your locks? So I personally started with comb coils. You can start with 2-strand twist, braids, like instant locks, or people do lock extensions. It just depends on what type of journey and experience do you want. I opted to go for comb coils because one, I know myself well enough to know that 2-strand twists or braids, that would get on my nerve as far as waiting for the pattern to disappear. And granted, it's different for everybody. Some people the pattern fades fairly quickly, and for some people there'll be a year or more until their lock journey and you can still see the pattern, and there's no way to know how your hair is going to respond to it. I don't have time to be waiting for the pattern to disappear. It's going to bother me. If you're somebody who you're like, that's not going to bother me, then cool. I also notice when people start with braids or 2-strand twists, they seem to, their locks look a little bit longer when they're starting. Comb coils, they tend to like be more shrunken when you start your locks, so keep that in mind too. Because I was thinking like, oh, I was pulling on, like I did a practice comb coil one day, and I was like, oh, my lock's probably gonna be like right here when I start. No, it was not by any means. My locks were at my ear. The shrinkage was real, so definitely keep that in mind when it comes to starting your locks and the method that you want to use. When it comes to actually entering your lock journey in that first year, and just in general, just make sure that you have low manipulation when it comes to your hair. Keep your hands out of your hair. Don't pull on your locks all the time and go through them. I know it's tempting to touch your hair and mess with it, but try to keep your hands out of your hair as much as possible so that you don't interrupt the locking process. Also, if you're starting locks, you need to be comfortable with having imperfect hair and your hair being undone, especially just depending. If you're a person that really likes really neat hair all the time, then locks aren't really for you. They kind of get a little frizzy really quick, which I don't mind. I do enjoy having a fresh retwist. It's really cute and you're like, yeah girl, but I really don't like seeing my scalp like that. You can enjoy fresh neat locks, or you can also a couple weeks later enjoy fuzzy, frizzy, undone locks, which I really like also. So just keep that in mind, because you don't want to be constantly retwisting your hair and manipulating it, because that can cause thinning locks. Make sure that you're comfortable with that if you're going to start locks, because that's the real deal, and yeah, you just got to get used to that. And just know that in the beginning it's going to look a little bit more undone for the majority of the time, whereas when your locks start to mature, they just start to get more compact and neater and more slim looking. It's just a part of the locking process. But yeah, make sure to be patient. Everybody always says this, be patient, be patient, be patient. But I mean, it really is what it is. The first year, just know that your locks are going to shrink and you are going to lose length. Just know that, for real. And it's kind of like weird, because 1 month you'll feel like, damn, my hair grew. Then you'll get your hair retwisted, and the next month your hair is shorter than it was the last month, and then you feel like you get it's like tug of war. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down. I say about when I got to like 10 months, then I started seeing a little bit length. Like my locks got a little bit more firm. They were still frizzy and baby locks, but they just started to give me a little length out of nowhere. And then from that point, you hit your first year, and it's like, all right, I got this. I got the first year, and you're just flowing after that. So just be patient with your journey. Enjoy every part of it. If you aren't comfortable wearing your hair out, don't let anybody pressure you or make you feel bad about it. My first year, if I wasn't working out or like home or with people who I was really comfortable with, I wore a head wrap. Like you'll see in one of my videos before, that low wrap bun style was my favorite go-to, like when I went to work or if I had an event or something to go to. And yeah, and now I'll see people and they're like, what the fuck, like, how are your locks that long? A lot of people don't get their locks around that length till like a year and a half or so, and I'm like, I'm a year and a half, baby girl, like, or baby boy, whoever it is that's asking, like, yeah, you wasn't saying it, but it was happening. So yeah, just, you know, listen to yourself and do what makes you comfortable. Oh, another tip that I will let you guys know is make sure your hair is healthy and you get like a fresh trim if you can before you start your locks. That's exactly what I did. I had some heat damage and I also had some color damage, so I made sure to cut all that off so my locks would be healthy already when I started. And my locks are like in layers the way my hair was cut, so I'm really excited to get some more length so that it can be like a more seamless situation instead of like so stacked, but you know, it's all part of the process. But yeah, let me know if you have any other tips down below. Please share. I'd like to see them, and I'm sure other people who will be in the comments would love to see them too if they're starting their locks, because I'm not a professional. I'm just sharing advice from my own experience and things that I feel like would be helpful and would have been helpful when I started my locks. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Bye guys!